Please roll call.
Newberry, Crowner,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Lees,
Here.
Young.
Here.
Okay, are there any changes or to the agenda? If not, I would ask for a motion to approve it as is.
So moved.
So moved.
Support.
Support. Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have our consent agenda consisting of 5 items. Approving the minutes of the regular city council meeting on April 20th, 2022. Approved hiring additional staff for the 22 swimming pool season. Approved liquor license renewal for MK Mini Mart on 101 East Mount Pleasant. Approved proposal with Land and Water Vegetation Control LLC for weed spraying. And approved payment of claims is listed on 5/5/2022 expense approval report. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second?
Support.
Support.
Okay.
Motion and support. Any discussion on these? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll go to our staff and council reports. So our administrator, Greg.
Thank you, Your Honor. A few things tonight. I just want to thank publicly again the over 100 volunteers that we had for the tree planting, Trees Forever for the $4,000 grant, Burlington Beautiful Beautiful Burlington for the $2,500 grant as well. Great participation. Kelly touched base and found a WSI instructor for May, so we'll be able to get the lifeguards, make sure that those that don't have their certifications are trained. And how many did we have as of today? We got another one today?
We have 5 certified and 4, I think, that are just, that need certification, so still need more, but.
Yep.
And also, Cora, the pool manager, is gonna get her WSI, so even after this first round, if we get new people on, she'll be able to do the training in-house. She should be here on the 17th of May to start working with Mike and John.
We met on the water tower this week, and as soon as the rain starts, we're hoping they're out and moving again before the Mount Pleasant Street project starts. Sent the draft on the union contracts to the union rep for them to take a quick look at. Beaverdale, we're going to be, we sent that notice to be going out for a June 1 meeting with Beaverdale. I plan to bring up maintenance, rural water. That contract goes through 2024. At that time as well, we have 138, I believe?
That sounds.
138 folks out there is what the actual number was. I've been working and coordinating with the EPA on that risk resilience assessments and emergency response plan that we have to do. I talked to one engineering firm. They wanted about $15,000 to do both of those. So we're going to divvy up the chores. Lindsay with Snyder's going to put some information in. I'm going to put some information in. And I'm going to catch Troy, and we're going to put something together and get it over to Lance. I talked to him. He thought we could be acceptable. We put something together. Basically, we have a distribution system. And Burlington is getting me a copy of their plan as well. So we will try to get something back to the EPA as well on that. And I did get a job description from the apprenticeship program with Iowa Works, and we're going to utilize that job description to put together a job description for the wastewater treatment plant, and then bring that discussion back to council as well. ICMA has a high performance leadership program. It's an online program. I'm looking at potentially doing that rather than ICMA this year. The price is a wash. It's a 12-week program. And heard some really good things from some of the managers that have done that. And it's basically a wash. Would there be any objection from council if I went and did that online program versus went to Ohio for the ICMA program? It's basically a wash, and I've heard some really good things about it, working with other managers, more of an intensive program rather than just the annual conference. So that's about all I have, unless you have questions.
Okay. Thank you. Public Works, Mike?
Greg touched on the tower lures project. They're supposed to be back next week when it's nice. Start fixing the pavers, working on the punch list over there, and get the matting around the bridge to try and finish that up so we can be done with that project. South lift, all the pumps are in and running. Next step would be you guys closing that out, or Greg's got some issues to take care with that. So I'm good with the south lift. It's up and functioning like it's supposed to now. That's about all I got.
Just a quick follow-up on that, if I might, Your Honor. We will be sending them a notice regarding disincentives that we quantified earlier in the process. This last time period doesn't qualify for that disincentive because they were, the pumps were up and running during that time frame. They did have to go back, prime and paint and replace, put them back in. We will be notifying the contractor of that. And obviously then we'll see what they have to say. The intent would be to withhold those disincentives from the retainage. We have more than enough retainage to cover that. There may be a bit of a give and take, and we'll bring that back to council for discussion.
Thank you. Jesse?
We got their graduation tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the elementary gym. If anybody would like to attend, myself and the mayor will be there. So anybody that would like to attend, it's always great. We've had council in the past attend the graduation. And last Friday, I started pushing out the policies. It's been a long process, but we're finally to the point where I started pushing them out. Had some good feedback from the guys. Pretty easy to follow along and all that. So we'll continue going out every week until we get them all pushed out.
Thank you.
Jesse, did you get a chance to see how many accidents were at that intersection of Gear and?
I had not yet.
Okay.
I'll write myself a note right now. Gear and Gear
Division.
and Division. Okay.
Thank you.
Sean?
Fireside, we attended FDIC. Guys took some various classes, arriving at the scene safely, some leadership classes by an officer. I took a policy class, and we had another one due on hazmat spills, so kind of good timing on all that. Made some good contacts, followed up on some information on some equipment that we have, for example, some thermal imagers, some batteries on them, doing some upgrades on those. And then also found some equipment that we picked up, and it'll be showing up here in a couple weeks that we purchased that will just help us enhance our abilities to serve the public. The building side, it's that time of the year. People, I just ask the citizens that are watching or discussing this, would they please mow their lawns 6 inches the maximum height. Already had complaints coming in, and I will be going around generating the notices on those. The mall itself, Greg and I received an email regarding that. I'm following up, be speaking with the property owner on that to make sure we're keeping that at 6 inches. And Borgie, an update on that. Before I left on Wednesday, I stopped out there, and they were just getting ready to start excavating the dirt out back, and they had just finished cleaning up the inside. That was an additional thing that was not part of the leak or the spill. We asked them to clean that up. They were able to see some other problems that they were going to address with their plumber. For safety reasons, when they were cleaning that, they did shut the plant down temporarily. That wasn't me that did that, that was them, and I applauded their decision in doing that. So we'll keep following up with them and working with them to try and hopefully keep this from ever happening again.
Thank you.
And 4th of July pancake breakfast, the guys are on it, we're looking forward to it.
Can I ask one thing, Sean? Do you have any updates on fire truck timing? Is everything still?
Yeah, I was over in Burlington on a structure fire, so I gotta get Greg his update here after the meeting. I was gonna include some pictures, the progress of the new engine. It was supposed to start on May 9th. They're probably about 3 or 4 weeks ahead of schedule. It's already gone through paint, the cab has, so I'll have a picture included with my update for you guys. It's looking good. Like I said, it was supposed to start May 9th. We're actually, the delivery date, we were looking at the 15th of July, and I'm gonna talk with them. It'd be great if we could have it before then.
Agree. Thank you.
You bet.
City Clerk?
Not tonight.
Okay. Finance?
I submitted the first annual ARPA report on the 30th. That was interesting. Finishing up the memo for the budget amendment and working on getting next fiscal year budget books together to get them out.
Thank you. I don't see any IT here, so I won't ask on that one. Andy, do you have something?
I'll do two things real quick. 4th of July wise, we've got raffle tickets in, so if you have a group or organization that's interested in selling the tickets, they sell for $2. The organization keeps $1. We have several organizations like the Alumni Association that make $1,000 or $2,000 a year. So if you have an organization that wants an easy fundraiser, you can come in City Hall and sign up for that. We'd love to have you. Pretty easy. Great raffle prizes this year, so come on in. And number two, just thank you to local businesses that have donated so far. We're still hoping to get some more in, but that's how the event is brought on and done free, is through those donations and ticket sales. So thank you.
John?
I have nothing.
Therese?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No one? No? Okay. I do have one. I was approached by one of the citizens, and his concern was, again, leaf and grass pickup. He's hoping that we will have what we had before construction went on with the water tower. So I present that to you as one of the citizens' concerns. So.
Well, I had a couple call me, and I told them, I said, the soonest is going to be for fall. Because
That's what I said, too.
if it happens before that, woo-hoo, but otherwise I'd rent a container and do it. Speaking of which, did you get a hold of Dennis?
I haven't had a chance. It is on my list.
Okay.
I can show you. I plan to talk to him about both the roll-off and the reduction in pricing that we talked about earlier as well, so.
Okay.
Any citizen inquiries to the City Hall here that, no, all right. We have one piece of old business. We consider the final reading of an ordinance restricting parking on Division Street from Broadway to South Gear Avenue.
I guess it was tabled.
It was tabled.
So I have a quick update from Danielle Ferrari at Kobo. Went through everything that we had discussed with them. He had a call on Monday with the leadership team in Italy. They are hoping to have confirmation for next year's plans before November, tentatively by the end of September, shooting for a final solution without having to proceed with an interim one is their goal. We will be able to confirm our plan by the end of September 2022 and possibly develop the lot before winter. They'd like to know if this is an acceptable timeline for the city.
And have it completed before winter?
That is their goal. They'll know in September of 2022. I would assume that if if they fail to do so or have those plans, and then I would assume we would notice them to do the parking lot. Council wish to table it to a date following September, or what's your pleasure?
That makes more sense. I make a motion to table it until we hear from them.
A second.
You know, if we do the third reading, we have to put things in motion, and we'll still get them off the streets in time for the second snow.
Maybe.
Would you want to make
Just
that
knowing yet this year.
motion effective for the first city council meeting in October?
That's probably when we're gonna be, right?
I would think so. I could probably find that. It's easier on the
October 5th is
Or
the
when?
first Wednesday in October.
Do
So
it,
moved.
approve it till.
So we have a motion and a second on tabling this until October
It won't go
5th.
into effect till after that meeting, 15 days.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under new business, consider the renewal of health, dental, and life insurance for 2022 with IGHCP. Have a motion on that.
I've gone through this, oh, sorry.
I
Support.
have a discussion after.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion and support, discussion?
I didn't hear the motion.
Oh, maybe I didn't get a motion. I heard
Oh, sorry.
Melanie did.
Okay.
Okay. And you supported.
I supported it.
You
You said
sure
you had a
did.
motion.
I heard that part.
Must have been
Sorry.
someone down there that was so quiet, you know.
All right, discussion, Greg?
We've reviewed this during the budget process as well. And the final updates, as we indicated to the union, we are bringing forward some additional options for vision insurance that they can purchase if they so choose to do so. Increase was 5.22%, as we noted during the budget process. And if you recall, we spent about $100,000 in partial self-funding last year. We're on target to be closer to $60,000 this year rather than the $100,000. And you'll note in my memo that I'm suggesting that that we take that difference, or about $30,000 of that, and set those funds aside in partial self-funding account. Our risk, or the amount that we have set aside is just over $12,000. Our risk is closer to $100,000 on an annual basis, and the city, the original plan that they brought forward to us would have been setting aside a larger amount so that we had that risk covered. And it typically runs around $100,000. This year, it just happens to be closer to $60,000. So it seems to me that we have an opportunity to take around $30,000 or so and change and set that in that fund so that we can start to build up that and be able to better cover that risk. So I'd ask them to bill us that amount unless the council objects during this process tonight. We do have an account across the street that we've been having a discussion about today that we are not entirely sure of the
We've maintained a balance in it.
we've maintained a balance in it, but where that balance came from and what it can be used for, we may be able to use that balance to cover this difference rather than the general fund as we typically do, which would be nice, and we could take it from that amount and close out that account that's just been sitting there for years with earning minimal interest. So, but that would be our proposed plan to bring forward going forward. Happy to answer any questions on the insurance, health insurance and otherwise. The other big piece that the staff had been concerned about was life insurance and portability. The previous life insurance company did not offer portability for employees. This life insurance company does offer portability if the employee separates from the city, retirement or otherwise. And that was an important piece for the employees. The terms, deductible, out-of-pocket max, everything else is the same. Voluntary life went down, as I noted, but happy to answer any questions. Good program, seeing the savings. I participated in the annual meeting this year with IGACP and the member entities. Good discussion. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Greg? If not, then call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consider proposal hiring temporary summer help for the Public Works Department.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion.
Are you just gonna hire one, or?
I have not received no applications but that one.
And that may also depend on the apprenticeship piece that we bring back as well, which would supplement staffing. So I'd like to bring that back as soon as possible. I need to get the job description to Rod and Mike so that we can take a look at that and bring that back to council for consideration.
And basically, all he's gonna do is mow?
No. He'll mow, trim, water these trees we put in. When he's caught up with that, he comes to me and asks what he can do next. This is an employee that you just don't find anywhere. He's proven himself last year, and he's well worth it. I don't have to follow him around, make sure he's doing it. He's done with things and comes to me for next. He's helped pour concrete, backfill after concrete. It just depends on when the rain stops and the grass stops mowing. No, we'll have plenty for him to do.
So I won't hear from you that you're too busy doing other things because you got him extra.
No. We used to have 4 and 5 part-time help.
He's a good kid, I know.
Is he?
Yes. He's taking a pay cut to come back here for the summer. He has a job in Iowa City. He's making $16 an hour right now.
Any further discussion? If not, call for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3, consider a resolution amending the city's master fee schedule to include swimming pool fees.
Can I ask for a clarification on, you had a couple proposed options in here. So are we only doing the master fee schedule and not the pool passes and those kind of things? Is that?
Well, I just wasn't sure what direction you wanted to go with it, so it's kind of up for discussion. I think if you,
This is based on the memo that Kelly had put together and we provided an update a couple weeks back.
there was some,
I know we need a motion before discussion, but I didn't even know what to motion based on what I have in front of me, so it was.
It'd be approval of the rate schedule was attached.
The blue column, right?
well, there's still some options there.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm going to throw a motion just so we can get to the discussion. I motion to approve as presented with the top line on every option, and then let's talk about it.
Okay, sounds reasonable. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion second. Let's go to discussion on this.
I'll throw out a few thoughts. I like the pool hours that are stated. I think last year was 1 p.m. and maybe even the last couple of years, and I always thought that was too late. So I like the 11:30 with the shift starting before that. I like season passes myself. I think that's something good, and I wouldn't even mind just limiting them to West Burlington residents as an option. Otherwise, everything else looked pretty good. I wish we could get that pass down some. I'd like for residents to be able to utilize that, but understand we're trying to pay for it too.
What's the comments with the season passes versus doing the punch tickets? Kelly, did you have an opinion on that, or?
That's just, they're kind of carried over what they did last year as an option.
Yeah.
The only thing about the season pass, and maybe it's not a big deal, like I said, right now we have 5 guards. I'm not sure that's enough to keep the whole pool open the whole day. I mean, that's my only concern.
Your
And
concern
then
is
if
people
people,
won't get to use their.
well, if they've bought a season pass and then,
COVID was
We're
an
not-
issue last year as well, and closures as well. But, I mean, you're talking, I lost my place, 86 visits,
Yes, that's what it
so,
shows.
surely we'd be
10 a month,
open.
40, I mean, get,
What was last year's rate?
We weren't open.
yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were, because my daughter bought one.
Yeah, I did too.
Season.
It's on that
On the
paper.
left.
Column 2, the one
The
with the yellow
first
top.
link document.
First one? I
Yep.
didn't see that. I saw this year's, but I didn't see last
Yeah,
year.
the first 2 columns are.
It looks like this one here.
Yeah.
Did we sell a lot of season passes? Do we
Well,
know?
why did it?
Oh, we don't
last year,
have that
yeah.
information.
Oh, I see, okay.
So, and feedback from the community,
I had people call inquiring if we're going to do passes, and I've kind of told them the same thing. It's just kind of up in
We
the
had
air.
historically done passes.
okay, so the residents are used to
But-
it. You know why we don't have the information from
But the
them.
issue, has been, I guess, last year's a bit up in the air. Then we have the transition this year. Do we want to do it this year? Do we want to hold off? But at this rate, I mean, 37 visits, 10 a month, I mean, it doesn't take much to get there, you know?
Well, and if I understand correctly, we make money when people show up and buy the food, and our food things that we're trying to arrange are based on people using them, right? So in other words, you buy a season pass, you're more apt to buy food there.
We have 2 options, contracting with a vendor, and option number 2, backup, or backup would be working with Boss Vending up the street. So-
My point is, if people have got
People
a
aren't
season
there.
pass, hey, I'll go there for 15 minutes, so what, I just get in the water 15 minutes, and by the way, I'll buy a soda or something. Does that help us? I don't know.
It would be more helpful if we had a full-blown concession stand, but
We don't, we won't.
we won't
Okay.
this, yeah.
So you only get 10% of that.
I have the number of season passes that were purchased from the Y last year in my office, so I can get that to you.
To me, it matters. I mean, if it's 10, why are we talking about it? Forget it. If it's 110, let's do it again. If it works, great, we'll do it again next year. If not, oops, we shouldn't have changed.
Do you have any idea how many? Any idea?
Pulling numbers out of the sky, okay.
Yeah, it's literally on my desk, so.
Well, it's all kind of weather dependent, because we've had a lot of soggy Junes, and then come about the middle of July, people lose interest in it, and they don't care to go swimming anymore.
I was the opposite because we had baseball so much at the beginning of the season that we couldn't really go till the second half.
And then if you buy a pass and you can't get in because we don't have enough lifeguards,
Yeah,
they're not gonna be happy.
Right, right.
which is what happened last year. They shut down 2 days a week and people weren't happy.
They
We
won't.
did hear about that, whenever they would close early, or they weren't able to open, and, but, I mean,
That's their staffing problem they had last year. And usually you get 2 to 3 weeks into it, and then all the lifeguards start wanting time off and not showing up, and so you got 5 now, and you might have 3.
there's no way these 5 guards can work 7 days, 7 days a week.
Well, maybe the punch card would be a better thing to do.
I mean,
Might get
at,
less
at
complaints that way.
$4 for an individual, a family of 5 makes up their pass pretty quickly. I mean, it's a pretty cheap program for a season pass. We get a bit of a guarantee, and they get it otherwise. I mean, $4 for all ages, 4 times 5, 20, $20 a day. If you're there 5 days a week, I mean, you make it up in a week and a half. I
would honestly just do a single pass and not a family pass. Because the Y had some easier ways to track it, because they had membership, and they would take a picture of them, but we don't have that. It's hard to determine who's in a family.
You don't really know, yeah, all the people coming through the gate if they are family members.
But if you just do a single pass, then it doesn't matter who you are or how many you are with.
So in other words, you'd say we'd sell $100 individual passes and that's it?
Yeah, I said 150, because that would still, anything after 37 visits would be free.
So instead of
You're
paying 150, I did last year, I'm paying 600?
You get one for everybody. But I know, it seems like a lot, but it's,
Way it is, ain't it?
but
a
that's,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
what-
think
I mean,
you
the-
look at the economic times, Kelly. I mean, we can bill them to death, but.
I know,
kids,
but look at your budget with the pool,
Well, I know, but I
That's
think
the
your
same
pool
thing.
is
I
an
mean-
amenity that people expect.
yeah, I'm fine with whatever you want to do. The 12 visits and then one would be free might be better, because then people aren't having to spend that much if they're really only gonna go 15 times.
I think everybody's gonna be a little different. I don't think you're gonna find one person that's only gonna, or all of them that's gonna go for 15 times, or some of them might come every day, So I
I
think
don't
there's gonna
have-
be a different option here for everybody.
Frankly, this year's going to be a bit of a learning curve. And relearning curve, learning curve, however you want to put it. It's going to be interesting with COVID. It's going to be interesting with weather. It's going to be interesting with concessions. This is really, I guess, more of a
Trial and error.
learning year in preparation for, making, for next year, and hopefully.
So would you rather
thereafter.
learn on the side of being expensive and no one going, or being too cheap and they're being full?
What about just doing a
I'd
daily
rather-
admission?
Option 2 for me.
I agree with, yes.
We want to be full.
We wanna be.
We want it used.
With that, I mean, we've lost between 32 and 80,000 1 year high, averages around 45,000 that the city loses at the pool. We'd take over concessions in the future if we can find staffing, but now, I mean, we're up against these higher prices for personnel. That's another issue as well. So.
I think that's cheaper than Burlington's daily admission.
But,
It's cheaper than last year's daily admission.
we get a lot of Burlington residents at this pool as well. Maybe we charge residents one rate, and we charge non-residents a higher rate for an annual pass.
Okay.
Or as you said, maybe we just do an annual pass only for residents. That way, you're getting a higher return.
I feel like everybody's welcome, but it's West Burlington taxpayers are already paying for the pool to be here, basically. So I feel like giving them a lower rate on a pass, not on a daily, just come in and pay 3 versus 4, because there's no way to track that, just a guy walking up to the window. But on a pass, maybe we don't go to the point where we've got as much as the Y did, because they really had that tracked really well. But if we could do something similar where at least, gosh, I can think of 10 ways we could track that where it's scanned and we could do an easy photo. I mean, the system's already got to be there, right?
Well, I'm hoping we can try and use
Square.
Square. I think it would be a lot useful, wouldn't worry about Angie.
It's a lot to try to
I think
teach them how to do the picture and make the cards. And when I remember when I was doing them, we would do family passes, and they'd put all the people in the family on the pass, but really only about 3 of them used the passes. So then you're making up a lot of
or we
passes.
would get friends, extended family, all those
If you didn't have the
different issues.
photos and,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we're not.
Last year
we're not gonna
when I went to the Y, and at the Y is where I got the pass.
Yeah.
You know, similar, I think you'd come here and buy, if you're gonna buy a pass. You know, okay, step here, click, got your photo off that iPad sitting out front.
Actually, we have a machine, man.
It's just very time
Yeah,
consuming.
get that here in the council, or
Yeah.
in the
City Hall.
City Hall. Yeah, I think we should do that.
I guess I'm in favor of making it as easy and as simple as possible this year and making improvements down the road. You know, if you want to do a season pass, I'd probably do it for residents and not provide that for non-residents, make them pay the daily fee.
Get the punch ticket.
Give that benefit to the public, or to the residents. They can buy the punch ticket, or they can pay for the daily fee. Start there. We're gonna have issues with passes. We always have. We can work to improve that going forward. There's a lot of things we're gonna need to tweak going forward as we take it back over, but.
So season passes cover family?
Last year I could buy based on how many people I wanted to. So if I only wanted to buy the kids passes and I would pay as I go, I could do that, or I could buy it for however many I wanted. And it scaled.
Did it have to be family in your household, or?
That's the way the Y did it.
Yeah.
Worked pretty well.
I would do households, I mean.
So can grandpa take grandkids?
Not on a pass, I would say how we've done it in the past, not on a season pass.
Unless they live in the same house.
But you could get a punch card for those kids.
But you get punch cards for that.
And grandpa could punch his card. Or grandpa get that season pass and
Yeah.
a punch card for the grandkids.
So if you didn't do the pass this year, because I understand we do want to make it simple. I get it. I do think though we need to tell people like, hey, we at least I had calls about passes last year when it closed the 2 days. So I know people are at least somewhat buying them. I don't know the number. I know we had 4, but if we could find a way to make the punch card equivalent of that, I would be okay with that for a year. I don't know. I just haven't ran the math on this. So the way you have this right now is you basically get 1 free after every 12 visits. So family of 4, the 4th time I go, I get $4 off.
Just do that for residents. 'Cause we get a little outside.
Yeah.
Family of
1 free
4.
pass.
Right, so the 4th time I go, one of those is free.
Why don't we make it really simple and just, so we can find out how, and correct it next year, like, instead of worrying about whether it's West Burlington or Danville or New London, I have, make the cards for everybody, and
It's a lot of
I-
waste, but
are you gonna, well, what'd you say, Kelly?
it's a lot of, if you're doing like a family pass, I think it's a lot of waste. I would or the pictures, that's gonna be a lot of work to get set up right now when we don't have any kind of system in place.
So we make it simpler and don't do it this year and do it next year while you get it in place.
Yeah. I mean, it just needs timing to get the equipment over there, to get people trained. Cora's kind of taking on a lot right now, but
Or you do the passes here and it's already set up here.
it's not really set up here. I mean,
Take an hour to do it or a day to do it or what?
I don't know.
And you up here to man it and do it?
It's a lot of work.
I
if we're gonna do it, it needs to be done at the pool, because people are gonna show up at the pool, they wanna pay and go in. They're not gonna wanna stop and come up to City Hall and get their pass and then go back in. They'll come on the weekends. We did try that one time. They show up on the weekend, they wanna buy their pass, well, you have to go to City Hall and get your pass. Well, you're gonna lose money on a pass if people go all summer. You're never gonna make money on the pool anyway.
Angie,
Just
if you
a concession.
have this information laying on your desk right now, can't you just go grab it? and grab it? Could you do that, please? I mean, again, if we're talking about 10 season passes, that's one thing.
Yeah, I don't know the number.
150.
It's a
But you
whole
could
different
do
ball.
just a card that had 11 spots on it, and you just punch one of them, and the last one you didn't pay for, so it's a free one. Something like that, and everybody could have one of those, right? That seems pretty simple.
I mean, then we're not charged with tracking it.
Right.
Doesn't matter who uses it.
Doesn't matter if,
No.
yeah, it doesn't matter if you take 3 people in the family and go, or
Right.
one, or,
So tell me, the guards are gonna cost X amount of dollars for the year. The concessions is gonna get us back a few dollars. The water is gonna be changed the same, the treatment's gonna cost the same. How do we lose more money by having more people versus fewer people?
I don't know what you're at, I don't.
You said we're gonna lose money if we,
I'm just
if we
saying,
go
in
with the
a
pass.
swimming pool is not a moneymaker for a
I
city.
understand it, but it's gonna lose the same amount of money whether it's full or empty, am I right?
Season passes versus regular admission, you're losing, that's where, I think that's what you're referring to.
Oh, yeah, in a season pass,
Can.
But then you have more,
And the cost of chemicals will probably be a third more this year with the cost
it's
of
still gonna
chlorine.
be whether there was a ton of people or not. I mean, it's not gonna be that much different, right?
The problem is there's enough lifeguards to even be able to put the full amount that we can allow in there.
It almost seemed to me that if you're gonna have problems with lifeguarding or weather problems or anything else, closing the pool down is gonna make people who have season passes matter as if they were buying the ticket, because they're not gonna buy a ticket during those time periods, but we probably will balance out, but then you might have a better idea on.
Angie, does it say
Numbers.
how many season passes were issued? I mean,
It tells you how many admissions of season passes.
Yeah, I mean, you get 2,258 admissions with season passes, but
How many bought them?
it doesn't, we have no idea how many passes that is.
What, they had 8,000 and some regular admissions. 2,000.
8766 daily admissions, coupon punch card admissions, 418, season pass admissions, 2,258. Total admissions, 11,442, so, a quarter of your admissions were season passes.
Just a quarter. How many were Burlington residents versus West?
They don't- they
West
don't
Burlington?
They don't track that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number less.
I think that they had more just regular admissions than they did season passes or.
By far, daily admissions was the highest.
Well, that's good.
Well, if you look at the potential for days open, 86, a third of that's gonna be rained out. Just count on it.
Days open, 73, days closed, 14, days closed early, open late, 10.
I think we'd be better off just to do the punch cards for now this year and see how it flies.
And they offered punch cards through the Y also, so.
Does it
each
show
season
on there?
passes.
Yeah. They had
But
punch
Teresa,
cards,
most of them
admission.
was season
Because
pass.
418
$150 for an
admissions.
individual pass is kind of pricey.
The punch cards, 418
Not what I
admissions.
Said about a quarter, right? You said about a quarter of total entrants were season pass entrants?
Well,
Could you read those numbers again? How many were ticket? It's like 8,600 or something?
8766 daily admissions. Punch cards, 418. Season pass admissions, 2258.
Yeah,
22 what?
58.
2,000.
2,058.
That's not that many.
All right, well, I'm gonna amend my initial motion. Let's see, we're good on everything except no season passes, keep the punch card, keep the hours, keep the admission rate. Yeah,
So still the first line on everything.
yeah.
Oh, it is still the same.
I think so. What do you think, Andy?
So Andy, you're saying no or no season passes?
He's
No
saying-
pass, but keep the punch. And it's the 12th one, right? It's not buy 12, get the 13th. It's the buy 11, get the 12th.
Free.
Says
Right?
Yeah,
12
yeah,
visits.
because 40, yeah,
4 times 40.
yeah.
That's my motion. I have another comment after it, but that's the motion.
But that's the same motion you made
Yeah,
before.
yep, we're good.
I don't have to ask for a change. All right.
I would like that punch card to be tracked. So when we're sitting here next year, we know this many people used it this many times, and I know we're not gonna know who, and
You'll know how many you sold, you'll know how many
Yeah.
were
The
used.
first line of
we're not selling any of them, right? This is just a free card. Right? Just like you're getting a coffee at Lost Bear, everybody gets a punch card. We're punching
I
it.
see.
We'll just know how many
Oh,
get turned in,
I thought you were selling
right?
the card, which would have
No.
11.
That's not what I'm hearing,
What'd you
right?
say?
Everybody gets a card.
Everybody gets a card,
Okay.
and they
Yeah.
pay for 11 visits, and the 12th one, they turn their card in and get it.
But I'm not buying a card for $44. Everybody's getting a card,
It's like Lost Bear, not like a school lunch
right?
ticket.
Okay.
You have to buy
see-
the card.
see, here's
Full
here's
lunch
what I'm
tickets.
thinking though, is on punch cards, sometimes people, punch cards on their own, and then you wind up having a card that you're getting a free admission to this. So I was thinking that if you paid for the card, when you punched it out, people are not going to punch
I'm
their own
talking about
cards
paying up
on
front.
that.
Paying up front.
need to
Yeah.
buy
Pay
the
up front.
Not Lost
Buy
Bear, not Lost
Paying
Bear,
up,
school
paying
lunch
up,
ticket.
paying them up front, and then on your last visit, you turn
Card in,
the
you
card
just walk in,
and that's your free
Yeah.
admission, and we get the card back, and we know how many have been.
and used.
Yeah, we will have people punching their own cards.
Cards, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta buy a special punch.
Well,
Yeah.
even then, some people figure out how to
They
do
are-
that too.
Yeah.
They're savvy.
But you wouldn't, now, Andy, if you were thinking about the cost of having the card, you could conceivably do it with a 5,
Special punch in.
and the 6th one would be free. You'd get 2 that way, but
Is there a way that we can, if we do it this way, we're not gonna know next year whether anybody really is interested in this season pass.
Nobody, how many people call us?
Well, I might want a season pass and I wouldn't call, you know?
How many Facebook comments we have of, what do you mean there's no season pass?
I mean, the couple people that I've talked to, I said, at this point, we're still trying to get enough guards to be open. I said,
I think we can explain it, and we don't want to waste their money. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of reasons for it this year. This was given to us late. We don't know what's going to happen
Oh,
with
it's just
COVID.
like-
We've got staffing issues and concession issues. I mean, we're trying to put this all together, and we, at the same time, we want them to have a good experience as possible. We don't want them to lose money on the deal. I mean,
Yeah, we don't want them to lose money.
and,
Buying a pass and not being able to use it for 35 days, because I'm sure they'll track it.
I remember when we built the pool, the recommendation was no season, that was 2000, when we do that, 2004.
What are the pictures over there?
Their recommendation
no, it was after I left.
was no season passes and daily admission, which was higher than this. That was when the pool opened. It was like up to $7 admission, I think.
It was ridiculous, but
But they were-
we made
they
more
were-
I mean,
money.
that,
off
they were showing us how we could make a profit. A
Yeah.
full-blown concession stand with hot food, open during the day, open at night with the window on the outside, but
And that's why it was so much more expensive, because they were trying to make it self-sufficient. We know this ain't gonna be self-sufficient. We know we're gonna subsidize this, so.
Well, that's a
I'm-
choice, yeah.
Well, let's move on.
Okay.
Do the vote.
Okay. All in favor of the motion as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Nay.
1 nay. Motion carries.
I will mention on here too, that like the swimming lessons, it's gonna depend on staffing. It does say that, depend on staffing if we can do that too, but I'd like to be
Get your
able to.
speedos out and get moving.
She's would like
Any
to.
lessons? Okay, moving on, we have number 4, consider resolution approving funding for the 2022 Fourth of July celebration.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion support, discussion?
I only want to bring one item up. Mike and I have been having some discussions about changing some electrical at some point in time. He's still working on some costs and options for that. We use this $10,000 directly funds the fireworks each year, and I may come back and see if I don't have it in the event budget, if we're making a facility change here at City Hall that anybody could use for any event outside that we do, if we could get a little more money out of the hotel motel tax to do that change. But I don't want to do that and have it cost a fortune, so Mike's really looking into options and looking for donations of equipment and time to make that happen. But we're very limited on power right at the moment outside, so, and that directly affects, right now, the power issue is for food. But we also have power run out here for the stage, and if we make changes out there too at some point in time. But right now, it's directly the power out the north end for the food. So just want to bring that up, not a for sure thing, but could happen.
Your Honor, I'd like to recommend, hopefully a friendly amendment, that number be $40,000, or the budgeted amount, right, not $10,000, that be noted for a public purpose. The entire amount that goes through the city's budget be noted as being for a public purpose.
Not just the fireworks?
Not just the fireworks.
Okay. Could you accept a friendly
I lost it.
amendment?
You lost me.
I think you're the one that made the motion.
State auditor's report, if you take a look at that information in there, there's a lot of, dive into a little bit more. They put out some information lately. They want to see that the city it's a city event, the city is participating in an event, and that the funds are clearly have been indicated to be a public purpose. I think it's probably just, on the safe side, it'd be good to just note that the entire $40,000, even though it goes through the city's budget, it's in and out, and not necessarily city funds, that it's the entire event.
Approved by the city, yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify for everybody, you're not talking about spending another dime on this thing. We're just saying that we've always been approving the $10,000 that's moved for the fireworks, and so this would cover the total budget and just show that it is.
Exactly, for the fireworks, and then maybe just add in but note the approve event funding amount of $10,000. If you want to spell that out specifically for the fireworks, that's fine, but I think we should also just note that which is included in the $40,000 that the city budgets annually for the 4th of July event.
I'm trying to think this out.
Go ahead.
If you're talking more electricity up here and more down there or more over there,
Here's the current issue.
how are you thinking about getting that? Digging up the street or?
No, we have it in the basement.
Yeah.
We need a 400 amp service when we have a 200 amp.
Okay, so
But to run the conduit and the wiring out and change the 200 amp and the power outlets, it's very, very expensive.
Amazing.
The power's here, but we're still running on a temporary service that's tapped into the switchgear for the generator that was put in when the first 4th of July to get it rolling. And it's never been put in right. It's to the point that we can't get enough power out of where we're cheating at. We need to get it run right
We blew it last year, and we had food service down for 45 minutes or something while they came in and switched the panel. But again, none of that's part of this. That was just, I wanted to mention
I'm
it.
just,
Yeah.
just didn't know how it was gonna get done.
I'll friendly amend my motion
All
for a
right.
total of $40,000 for the event.
John, will you accept?
I'll support that.
All right. Motion and support for the amended motion, I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Let's see. Consider the first reading of an ordinance setting water rates for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion support, discussion.
Just a reminder, I'll be taking a look at water rates and bringing that back to the council for consideration in the future. We received that 12% increase after the fact, late in the game, but also want to look at industrial and commercial users. As you noted recently, most of the city's staff time is spent on our industrial and commercial users versus our residential users. And I think from our water and sewer rate perspective, and perhaps stormwater, I think we need to take a closer look at how that increase is distributed, but the rates in general as well.
So the only thing changed was the monthly distribution charge from $33.16 to $30.16.
The base rate is for all rates at this point in time, as we discussed in budget, drops by $3 for each of those. It's just the base rate at this time.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries for that.
This is, actually, Your Honor, that needs to be a roll call ordinance.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Roll call then.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Consider second reading of the ordinance amending City Code, Section 90.11, to include the installation of tracer wire on newly constructed or reconstructed water service lines.
Motion approved.
Support that.
Motion and support. Discussion?
I wasn't here for the last meeting. I watched this from home and just wanted to say I think this is a great idea. It sounded like something we need to do per Iowa code anyway, but this is something I deal with daily as we're running something down and the guy runs outside and tries to trace where his camera is through that. We're marking it. It's a nightmare. So greatly in favor of this. If I was going to make any change to this, it would just be to define in here the reconstruction. Because I think you're going to have some questions on exactly when do I need to do it, when do I not.
Is this saying new construction? I don't have it with me.
It says new and reconstruction.
Define reconstruction?
Yeah.
I would think so, because at least for our purpose, when do we intend for them to do this?
It could only be done if the sewer collapsed and they had to have the sewer replaced from the street to their house, and that's when you would install that when they go back across their yard.
So only on a full, not on a,
Yeah,
going in,
you
digging out
can't,
8 feet for a belly.
no, you can't,
Okay.
yeah, it would do you no purpose. You'd only be able to get that 8
A
foot.
little bit, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then probably as vague as it is fine then, if that's the intent.
Okay. We don't need a roll call. We
Yeah,
do.
would-
All right.
On all ordinances, we will.
All right then. Roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider second reading of an ordinance adding a new section 90.22 prohibiting theft of services and tampering with water service systems.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? If not, roll call.
Young,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Consider second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 91 of the City Code by adding a new section, 91.11, prohibiting the tampering of water meters.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 9, consider the second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 96 of the City Code to include a new section requiring the installation of tracer wire on newly constructed or reconstructed sewer, lateral pipes, and mains.
So moved.
Motion and
Support.
support. Motion and support. Any discussion? If not, then roll call.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Okay. That concludes new business. No citizen inquiries. Take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.